Hey, good morning, everybody. How's it going? Man, it's a beautiful day down here in Bend. I don't know what it's like in the Seattle area, but it's supposed to be 58 degrees today. It's probably around 50 degrees right now. I'm out in East Bend. Power lines aren't too exciting, but the rest of the landscape is. Just high desert for as far as you can see. And this, to me, is a award-winning shot for somebody, some photographer, professional photographer. This barn here, this abandoned barn, and then see that house up there? I would love to live in that house. It's just small enough, big enough, whatever. I just like that it's up on the hill there and looks out over this landscape. Where are River and Skye today? Around here somewhere. Hey, River, Skye! River! Skye! Yeah, good dogs. Oh, there's one. Okay, there's Skye. Good morning. River! Not sure where he is. Boy, this is the kind of paid content you're looking for, isn't it? By the way, let me thank you again. Paid subscribers, there's 134 of you now. I really appreciate it. $5 a month and $50 a year. And thank you so much for supporting what I'm trying to do here. Right now, what I'm trying to do is find the white dog. Oh, there he is. There he is. Probably wondering, why aren't we heading back to the car? Got a big day planned ahead, taking down the Christmas lights finally. I'm wondering, just took down we had 2 Christmas trees at our house. One was the main one in the living room. The other one was in the cougar room. We call it our cougar tree. We have Butch up on top. I could probably post a picture of that later if you'd want to see that. If you don't want to see it, I won't do it, okay? It's your choice. Is it too late to have your Christmas tree up on January 11th? Because that's how long ours was up. We kept ours up longer than usual because our kids were with us. They were staying in Bend with us because Washington State, for whatever reason, they started school on January 12th. They started yesterday, the second semester, instead of January 5th, like most kids going back to school, but kept the trees up. But it seemed like it was getting a little late. Boy, the main tree was really hurting when I took it down yesterday, took it to the dump, and there were needles everywhere. And I thought of you, the ones that have artificial trees. You don't have to deal with the needles. You don't have to get out brooms and vacuums like I did yesterday, but still worth it to me. We had a blast going up and getting our tree. I wrote about it on Substack about paying $5 to go up in the mountains and get a tree, and finding out that a tree like the one we had, it'd be $250 if we had paid for it. So we're glad we did that, and we'll plan on doing it again next year. But yeah, pretty much of a hassle. The lights, the cords are going every which way on the tree, and every year I tell myself, hey, be a little more organized next year, Jim, and don't just throw the wires on the tree and into the box that you're saving them for. But I tend to fail to do that, so we'll see how it goes again next year. Again, my thanks to all of you. Boy, are you excited about the Seahawks? I think it's a good matchup, don't you? Wouldn't you rather have the 49ers than the Rams? Especially that beaten down 49ers team, that beaten up 49ers team that you took care of down in Santa Clara 2 weeks ago. There's little to suggest that anything's going to change in this next meeting, especially with the Seahawks playing at home. 49ers coming off a short week. They had a nice win there at Philadelphia, but I was watching that game thinking, man, that 49er defense, I know they're shorthanded. Shanahan mentioned the different things about what they were doing on defense. They had a couple of linebackers playing that weren't even on the roster a month ago, and they did a great job against the Eagles. They held them to 1 touchdown, 4 field goals. That's what it was, wasn't it? They only had 19 points. So a good effort by that defense, but that defense was holding an Eagles team whose offense just isn't very good. It's not as good as the Seahawks offense, so you don't really expect, I'm sure if I was in San Francisco, I'd be, the storyline would be, man, look at that 49er defense and what they did to the Eagles. But in the back of my mind, I'd be thinking, hey, man, you got to consider that the Eagles offense just isn't very good. So I think there's a lot of defenses in the NFL that would have shut down the Eagles on Sunday like the 49ers did. But still, you got to give them their due. The number one thing, and I wrote about it in the News Tribune. I'll be posting that column later at Substack. The number one concern for me, well, I've got two of them. How about 1A and 1B? 1A is Kyle Shanahan. And we talk about that on Puck Sports. By the way, do you see what I'm wearing today? The PS for Puck Sports. Puck Sports, Jason, his little slogan at the end of each podcast, and when he was at KJR at the end of each show, that tomorrow he always promised to be better. Now, I think he should change that slogan, because after all these years, as far as I could tell, he never was better the next day. In fact, there were some days when he was worse. I think it'd probably be too long, but how about just promise to be as good as we were today, or not as bad as we were today? But that's kind of wordy, so that wouldn't work. But love Puck. He sent this stuff to me yesterday, and I told him I would promote things at pucksports.com. If you're unaware of it, Jason is doing a 5-day-a-week podcast. Comes on at 10 o'clock every day. All you got to do is go to pucksports.com or wherever you find your podcasts. And it's always funny when somebody says, hey, wherever you find your podcast. And I'm like, shit, man, I don't know where I find mine. Hopefully everybody else does. But Puck's been a good friend. If you don't know the story, when I got fired at KJR, he quit in protest, so to speak, of them firing me, and went off on his own. And I think he's been doing this podcast now for 2+ years. And I appear with him Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And even if you're not listening to it live at 10 o'clock, you can still download it at a later time and listen to it then. He's got all kinds of great guests. I was listening to it today. He's got Danny Kelly from The Ringer on the NFL on Tuesdays, and John Canzano, who he knows everything about what's going on. West Coast football, Big Ten football. Love the guy. Just terrific talent. So you can catch him on Puck's podcast too. All right, where was I? I don't have any. I'm just rambling. Here, okay? I mean, most professional broadcasters, which I'm not. I was a professional sports writer, but I was an unprofessional broadcaster. Most of those kind of guys, would have some sort of seamless, nice transition as they're going along doing their videos out in the middle of the desert. Man, look at this place. Look at this. And if you're in Seattle, you can see the mountains over there. If you're in Seattle, that up there, that's called the sun, okay? That's the sun. All right, what was I saying? Oh, Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, that guy, he should be the coach of the year, shouldn't he? I mean, I know you can say Mike McDonald, Mike Vrabel, but the job that Shanahan's done with all those injured players, and not just starters, these guys were superstar types, like Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. Brock Purdy was out for a month. You remember that? When Mac Jones took over, and they weren't quite as good, but they were still good. And then when Purdy came back, they were averaging, 30-some points a game the 4 games before they played the Seahawks, and the Seahawks shut them down. But, yeah, Shanahan, you can't expect that easy of a victory. Now, it wasn't that easy, but as far as a 13-3 final score, that's the most dominating 10-point win I've ever seen in Seahawks history anyway, because they were so much better than the Niners that day. But what is Skye doing here? What is that? Oh, is that a stick or is that a leg? Oh, it's a deer leg. Yeah, she found part of a deer leg up there in that bush. And I'll probably try and take it away from her, but she won't let me get close to her. And when I call her, she doesn't come, so guess I'll let her have it. Yeah, Shanahan, so it's going to be, everybody knows, don't you know it's going to be a dogfight? It will be. The Seahawks are going to win that game. My concern level is not very high, because I feel like when you look back over the history of what 1 seeds have done, since they changed the format to 14 teams from 12 in 2020, so there have been 10 number 1 seeds, and 7 of them have advanced past this round. Now, last year, the Lions lost to the Commanders as a 1 seed, so that was an exception to the rule. And then I think it was in 2021 that the Titans and the Packers as 1 seeds lost this weekend too. But it's rare. And I also looked up for the News Tribune column. I looked at 7.5-point favorites, and that's how many points the Seahawks are favored by in this game. They rarely lose. I mean, they might not cover the spread, but 75% of the time they win. That goes down a little bit in the playoffs, but not much. And, you know, I consulted AI on Google today, and I'm not a huge AI fan, but I'd say I'm not a little AI fan either. I'm kind of in between. I'm growing used to it, and I kind of like it a little bit. Man, you just Google something, and they spit it out within 5 seconds of giving you an answer. And AI didn't factor in who the Seahawks are playing. They didn't factor in the short week for the 49ers. Didn't factor in the number of injuries they have. Those types of things. So there's certainly factors that weigh heavily in the Seahawks' favor, and boy, that's why they're favored by 7.5 points. So fully expect them to move on. I imagine you want them to face the Bears. Bears and the Rams playing Sunday at Soldier Field, if they're still calling that, in Chicago. And I'm with you. I'd rather see the Bears come to Seattle next week in the NFC Championship game. You got a better chance of losing to the Rams, surely you do, than you do the Bears. But it'll be an interesting game there in Chicago. The Bears are a 3.5-point underdog, and I'm probably leaning toward taking the Bears in that game. The other two games, the AFC games. Oh, how about that last night? You hear about Tomlin too? Mike Tomlin, I think just half an hour ago. Breaking news here on the ridiculous Jim, what is it called? Daily Jim Drop. Breaking news, Mike Tomlin has stepped down after 19 seasons as coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers after the Steelers lost to the Texans in the wild card round last night, 30-6. And the game was closer than that until the third quarter when Aaron Rodgers lost a fumble and Texans returned it for a touchdown. And then he threw a pick six after that. So it sure looks like this is the end for Aaron Rodgers at 42. Did not go out the way that he wanted to. And now Mike Tomlin, Rodgers hasn't announced what he's going to do, but we expect that he'll probably end up retiring. He was just on a 1-year contract there in Pittsburgh. But Mike Tomlin, who knows what his next step is. It's going to be tough to replace him, but I think it had run its course there in Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin. He'd lost 8 playoff games in a row. So similar to Pete Carroll, you had success with Pete Carroll certainly in Seattle with him as your coach, but things seemed to grow stale toward the end, and maybe it's time for a change in Pittsburgh too. All right, that's all I got for you today. That's it, 13 minutes of stuff. Yeah, that's right, 13 minutes of stuff. There's one more thing though. I've talked about my friend Stefan in Austria. He's still trying to organize, for good reason, this beautiful trip that he has planned, a golf trip in Portugal in April. And we're just looking for 2 more people to go on this trip. 2 more. We've got 4 who have signed up. We're trying to get to 6, maybe even 7 or 8. Heck, we'll take 12. But it's in April. It's on the Silver Coast of Portugal. Who doesn't want to go to Portugal? Come on. And I'll be going with you. I'll be hosting the trip. And I'm hoping it's going to work out for him. I'm going to repost that story later on. If you're interested, let me know. You can let me know in the comment section or email me at jimmoore@yahoo.com. And let's try and make this happen. And again, I know you're probably sitting there going, well, must be nice, Jim. Of course you want to go to Portugal because Stefan's probably going to pay for your trip. I got to pay for the airfare, but yeah, I think he is picking up the hotel and the golf for me, but it wasn't my idea. I didn't propose it to him. I didn't. I swear, I'm not lying to you. I wouldn't lie to paid subscribers. Might lie to the free ones, but not you. I wouldn't lie to you. So I'm hoping we can pull it off because I'm trying to help out a buddy get his business started. He's got this golf travel business over in Vienna, Austria, and hoping to help him get it off the ground. And so if you can't make it yourself, maybe if you could, get the word out to some of your buddies or pass the story along to somebody else who might want to go, that'd be greatly appreciated. All right. 15 minutes. Let's go. Hey, repeat after me. Fight, fight, fight for Washington State. All right, go Cougs. Have a great day. We'll see you later.